I was born in East St. Louis, Illinois, across from St. Louis on the other side of the river. My dad was James Stoffel, my mom Catherine Rose Stoffel. They were amazing parents and made me believe I could conquer anything. I was a competitive gymnast in junior high and high school. I knew about wrestling, of course, because we always had to share mats, move mats, and share the space in the gym together. I met Dave and Mark at the same time. We were physical education majors at University of Oklahoma. They were very unusual, in the middle of March wearing parkas and Russian hats, and I couldn't keep myself from coming over and learning more about them. And when I met Dave, I fell in love. I knew when I met Dave that our lives were going to be directed by the sport of wrestling. And I loved it. I loved being surrounded by athletes. I loved our home filled with training partners. I loved the family that it's created.
Nancy has a term she likes to use. It's called family, which comes from friends and family. Because when you are friends with Nancy, you are family.
When Dave was killed in '96, obviously it was a big decision where to go in life and with my kids. You can't always control what happens in life, but you can control the way that you face it and handle it. And I think there's ways that you can either walk away from something, but here was an opportunity. Here was an opportunity to share Dave's memory, to honor him, and also a way to share the sport of wrestling. I didn't ask for the attention, but there was a lot of media attention, obviously surrounding the trial and the murder and all of it. And so I decided to do something positive with it and use it to support the sport that Dave loves so much and has given me so much as well.
At a time when she could have easily retreated from a sport that had caused her and her family and Dave's family, really the entire wrestling community, so much pain and suffering. Instead, what she chose to do was to stick a shovel in the ground and plant seeds in that same field. Shortly thereafter, Nancy started the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club, and her capacity to care, her judgment, to me, really helped us all heal at a time when, and in a way that you didn't think was possible at that time.
It was intended to go for 3 months, but I think it was almost 11 years that we continued the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club. It's one of my most proudest things that I've accomplished, was being able to administrate a club and continue it in his honor for 11 years. It was an overwhelming situation, and Greg was by my side through every step of the way. One, to help me through the process of the prosecution era of it, to find lawyers to help represent me later in the civil case, and as well to help me sit down and create the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club. Ed Giese was another guy who was sitting right there at the table, helping me to order shoes and warm-ups from ASICS. And it's just so many people there. John Gira, the Foxcatcher guys were just amazing to help me through that time.
She ran the club. She did a great job, kept it organized, communicated with everybody, got funding for us. But she was also someone that cared about the athletes in a very personal way. When you were part of that club, Nancy was looking over you personally and follows up and isn't just talking about what happens on the mat, but cares about what's going on in your personal life. And that made such a huge difference for so many of us.
And her appreciation of wrestling was, with her gymnastics background, being around us, I mean, Nancy knew what it took. She was someone you could talk to about, the struggles you were having or the training, and she got it and she understood it, and she's been part of the sport ever since.
Well, I think the sport is unique. We have amazing friendships in this sport. It's unique to all other sports. We need each other. We thrive on the training partners of it, and we create this big family. It's not just a sport, it's a family of athletes.
It was apparent that she was in it for the right reasons. She wasn't in it to, get anything out of it herself, other than just giving, the athletes that were with Dave and trained with Dave an opportunity to continue to be in the sport, continue to strive for their dreams and their goals of being an Olympic champion and world champions.
USA Wrestling came to me and asked me if they could change the name of the tournament in the winter at the training center and turn it into the Dave Schultz International. And it's so meaningful because Dave was such a great competitor, and that was his life's blood, is international competition. And that led as well to being honored both by being asked to be on the Hall of Fame board and also USA Wrestling. It was an intense time, a time of much learning and growth. Also a time that my children were allowed to stay around this family of wrestling. It's been a true honor and a feeling of accomplishment to serve on these boards and represent wrestling.
Through Nancy's involvement at the board of directors of USA Wrestling, she made a huge impact on not only the sport of wrestling, but certainly in the governance of USA Wrestling, and helped establish the organization that exists today.
She became more of an ambassador in the sport, putting her time and talent and even treasure toward the betterment of the sport. And she's one of those people who understands the sport really at all levels.
I think wrestling has taught me a lot, and going through the tragedy taught me a lot as well. What I learned is that when something terrible happens, that also beautiful things can follow, and that heading into the storm and putting good people around you, you can make it through. And this family of wrestling is the best people you could ever have around you. Xander and Danny have matured into the most kind-hearted, loving people I could have imagined and hoped for. I'm sad every day that Dave doesn't get to see the people they have become, but I am so proud of them every day for the people that they are, and I'm so thankful to the wrestling community for helping me raise them. In 2011, I met Scott Vitangeli, and after 20 years of being single, I met a man who would allow me to love him, honor Dave, and continue to be around wrestling. He cares for my kids care for him, and I'm truly at one of the happiest times in my life ever. I don't think you can even start to explain, the kind of honor it is when you are someone that has come from a position of receiving so much from this sport, from the people at USA Wrestling, at the Hall of Fame. I've been the one to receive, and to be honored for giving back is something that I cannot express, and it's the greatest honor that I've ever had.